everyone. Welcome back to ColdplayXtra Live. We're here, and it's our 20th live stream. And welcome back, Eliana. So good to have you back. How are you doing?
I'm very good, very happy. The tickets for the second show in Bogota went on sale this morning, and it was stressful, but I was able to get my ticket, so it's all good.
That's
It's a
awesome.
good day.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. And Ian, how are you doing? Hope you've had some time to sleep since we last talked.
Yes, I was almost falling asleep on the last one, but luckily, ever since that show, the baby's been sleeping so well. Like honestly, like from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. in the morning, I'm a lucky guy. So
Nice,
been sleeping
nice.
well the last few weeks.
That's great. Maybe she was just waiting for that show to happen. Now,
And she was like, "Dad,
Yeah.
you need to get back to
get
doing
back
your
to work.
Twitch streams
Yes,
so that I can sleep." So
exactly, exactly.
here we are.
Here we are. So today is the day which I've been talking about for the last few streams. We're finally going to dive deep into the Music of the Spheres World Tour set list. It's finally happening. This is something we mentioned obviously, and if you followed us all this time, you know that what we love doing is over analyzing everything Coldplay related. We'll just dive deep and we'll really get into the weeds of it, even if it doesn't deserve it, because we just love
That's
talking
why we
about
have this
Coldplay.
show.
Exactly.
That's why we have
And
this show.
it should be a fun time. It will be awesome if everyone participates in the chat. I'll keep an eye out, and I really want to know everyone's opinions, etc. About whatever it could be. It could be, controversial. It could be something you agree. I just want to know what you think. And as I said earlier, it's our 20th stream today. We started a little over a year ago. So as always, thank you for tuning in and supporting us throughout the year and watching our streams and all your words of feedback and affirmation and everything. It's great. We will hopefully keep bringing you quality content and for a long, long time to come. And hopefully more amazing guests like Phil Harvey. And lastly, before we really get into the set list, because we don't want to waste time, we want to get right into it. Just my usual spiel of reminding you that if you're going to a show in the US or Europe this summer, or Latin America later in the year, please remember to tag Copa Extra in your stories, posts, reels, especially on Instagram. And Instagram is the place to be, but obviously across all social media. Keep following us, and we'll keep sharing as much tour content as possible. So with that, Ian, let's get into it. Let's get into it. The Music
Let's
of the
go.
Spheres World Tour. Now, before we start, we've seen the set list kind of divided into four acts. So we'll go act by act, and also we'll say which stage everything starts off on. I'll set the stage up here, and then Eliana, I'll bring you in. But Act One is planets, and that's when we have a couple of fans who walk out on stage. They give a small spiel about Coldplay being environmentally sustainable. There's pre-recorded video that plays on the screens, about 30 seconds. It's the longest 30 seconds because the show is about to start. But
Yeah.
it's about like 30 seconds to a minute, and what they're doing and why this is all important. And then the video ends. The fans say, "Get ready for the greatest band in the world, or biggest band in the world, or whatever they want to say."
This
Coldplay.
is where the spoilers start.
Exactly.
So if you don't want to know, tune out now.
Tune out now till your show is done. Um, and then the intro music starts, which is the music to ET, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And you can see the camera following the band underneath the stage as they make their way through, and immediately as they walk out, and they walk along the ramp all the way up to the B stage, go back under the stage, and that's when the Music of the Spheres Mox 1, the planet, the first planet kind of like starts, and you have the screen saying Music of the Spheres, and the music from the opening track, and you can feel the atmospheric sound. The Xylo band still haven't gone on yet, but
Mhm.
then they start walking up from the B stage, and then the first, heartbeat of that song comes on, and that's when the entire stadium flashes red. And as that goes on, we get into higher power. So, Eliana, this is the intro. What do you think about just that 1 or 2 minute, you know, walk
Yeah,
on?
I got goosebumps just by you describing the whole thing. Yeah, I think it's a great show opener. It's very strong. I like the atmospheric sound at the beginning, and like you said, they show the band on the screen, and there's a lot of anticipation. Um, I would say it works almost as good as the Milo Silo 2 intro,
Hmm.
because it was also very atmospheric and Chris was on the piano, and then the song starts. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Um, but yeah, loved the opening. Very excited, like you said. The silo bands come on. So yeah, I think it's a great way to start the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Um,
love that they have, the ET music, a bit of fun. It sets the mood. It sets the
Yeah,
absolutely.
mood.
Yeah.
It creates a little joyful vibe. You can see them coming on the CCTV cameras
Hmm.
from a mile away as they're walking in. That creates hype. It just
Hmm.
gets everyone feeling good and happy for what's about to happen. And I think
Exactly.
that's very important. Um, I've not been. You two guys have been to the show, so you know how it feels. But even just watching that, it just makes your heart warm. And I can't wait to hopefully experience it once this year myself. But as far as like walk-on songs go, we've been blessed with Coldplay and stadium shows um, since the Viva era, really, when they started experiment with prelude music and then
yeah,
lights out kind of moment, and then you know, intro music. Um, Loved Back to the Future into Milo Zalato Hurts Like Heaven. That was a great one. The last tour with the opera song, and then into Head Full of Dreams with a Charlie Chaplin speech. Amazing. And this one's just amazing as well. They all equally set the tone for the show. And this one is, and we'll get into it, is mostly about having fun and
yeah.
not being too serious.
Absolutely.
Well,
I
kind of,
agree.
but also not. Yeah, not so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the set list flows through the fun bits and the slower bits. We'll get into that as well. I saw a really good comment here in our chat saying a fun tidbit. The sustainability video uses John Hopkins' "Light Through the Veins," which is sampled in
Yeah.
Life in Technicolor.
Yeah.
So that's really good. I did not know that. Thank you for the tidbit.
Yeah.
RIP
And the
132.
band are echoing the messages of what their initiatives, aren't they, at the
Yeah,
time as well?
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Um, and I think I will say from my point of view, I think in A Head Full of Dreams, the tour, obviously the opening of that concert was amazing too. The biggest difference, and I think this is what puts the Music of the Spheres intro better, is that when the band start out, Chris is on B stage. Well, firstly, the fact that they come out on B stage feels even more personal because they're more into the crowd than getting up
Yes.
on A stage. They're so like they're right in there. They walk right past the crowd too. So it feels a lot more like they're there for us than them being a little bit like pariahs on an A
And they
stage
do a
sort of way.
lap. They do a lap of the B stage, right? Guy, Will, Johnny, they all give a
They
little
all give
wave
applause, yes.
and then
Yeah.
walk back, which makes
Then
it
walk back.
feel way more personal, especially if you're in that pit
Yeah,
on the floor.
yeah. I think there's
I
a
was. I was, and definitely it made a whole difference, just having
And
them
even
so
just the
close.
walking past on that one side, on Guy's side,
Yes.
walking
Mhm.
past fans. I know they don't give high fives, and that's probably because of COVID, and everyone's got the hand out still. But you know, uh, even that's just like, oh wow, they're here kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And
think
it makes it a bit more human rather than just pop stars walking on the stage.
yeah, 100%.
We're just human too, walking past you.
100%. I think there's an overriding sense throughout the concert in them just being very thankful and grateful for people like getting through the last 2.5 years and making it to a show. So that I think there's a lot more of like clapping back to the audience and just appreciating the audience a little bit more than there was before. Not that there wasn't that before, but there's definitely a sense of that before. Um, and then the fact that they're on B stage and then Chris does that he does this motion which is just like he's making the Zalomans like happen, and then they like have a heartbeat thing on. That the way that gets the whole stadium riled up is amazing
Yeah.
compared to a Head Full of Dreams. The only drawback in the Head Full of Dreams thing was the Zalomans would come on and then the speech would go on, but the speech would go on for just a few seconds longer, so the magic of the bands kind of fell a little bit
Yeah.
in that, it was still incredible, but it just fell that 5%, and then they walk out on stage. But because there's the pulsating beat of the Music of the Spheres atmospheric thing, and then we get into higher power, which is literally a 3, 2, 1, and boom, you're in pyros, fireworks, lights everywhere, and it's so euphoric because that's when you see the first glimpse of what an insanely high production value this whole show has. Um, then we get into Higher Power. Eliana, what did you think of that intro into Higher Power, and how did you like Higher Power as the first song?
Uh, to be honest, at the beginning, I wasn't very sure if I liked it or not. Before I went to my show, I was like, I don't know if it is the right choice. But I think it's a very solid song in the
Mm-hmm.
album, and it's a great way to kind of introduce people of what the feel of the show is going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole theme of the space and everything. So I think it works. And from my section, everybody was jumping up and down, and it was crazy. So like I said before, I think it was a great choice. And also, I think for the people that maybe didn't heard the album before going to the show and that they're not very familiar to it, it sort of sets the mood. So
Right.
I think it was a great choice.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Ian, any thoughts on? I mean, we've known that this is going to be the door opener for a while, but any other thoughts on musical spheres into Higher Power?
I love it. I was listening to the Setlist playlist today
Mm-hmm.
as kind of like my preparation for this. And honestly, like halfway through through Higher Power, I'm like tearing up thinking about how amazing this is going to be live. And you guys have experienced it. I've experienced it before last year a little bit in a smaller place, but like in a stadium, there's just going to be a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see that in a stadium. And I love the tricks that they've got on.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, like you saying, this is where you get a taste of the insane production value.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel like this is the one they kind of pulled back on compared to what we saw, let's say, in the Higher Power era. There was some
Right.
insane performances and insane production work going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they have to fund A Sky Full of Stars, Humankind,
Yes.
all the rest of the amazing show, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot to come. And that's just the one thing for me that just like, I know you've done this bigger before. So that's the only kind of pull up I give a Higher Power. Otherwise, absolutely incredible. Can't wait to experience it live. Abhi, you're lucky enough you get to see it this weekend. So
Yeah, I should.
enjoy
I
it
should.
for me. Yeah.
I will, absolutely will. I kind of agree. I see where you're coming from, in terms of them pulling back, especially because if you remember, they had that insane performance at the Brits, on
The
the
Brits,
River Thames,
Glastonbury, the New York
Glastonbury.
celebrations.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think they really went out with that. But I will say, I know people complained a lot about the Higher Power promotion, but it worked. People know the song and people love it and enjoy it. I hear everyone when Chris starts singing, sometimes I just can't take it. I can hear everyone around me in Dallas singing that loudly, and I was like,
Yeah.
people know this song that well. I was like, wow, this
In
is
the middle of
great.
Texas.
I know. Speaking of, if you're from Texas, hope everyone's doing okay. I know it's been a tough 24 hours, for all of us, but that's why we're doing this. We're trying to get everyone a little bit distracted, hopefully. Um, and I'm just reading some comments here saying, one's from Nats, and they said, "Hello everyone. I was barricade for Houston show, and the crowd went insane after 3-2-1. Gives me chills just thinking back to the moment." Um, and Yeah, I completely agree. I think Higher Power is such a tone setter in terms of the energy because, and we'll get into this in the next 2 3 songs as well, but the first part of the show is to get the crowd going. You want to get the energy up. You want everyone to
Yes.
feel high because they're kind of, everyone's a little bit exhausted, kind of standing around all day, especially in GA, or maybe they came from work. And it's been a long day, etc. And sometimes there's anticipation, traffic, delays, etc. So
In a long 2 years, people have anxieties about being in big crowds.
yeah,
There's
absolutely.
lots of factors at play.
Absolutely. So it's really, I think it really gets people going. And I will say the outro is stunning, in terms of the confetti and the final fireworks and everything. So I think when we're talking about the production value, that's when it kind of comes alive a little bit more for the song, which is at the outro. Um, and that's a great opener. So before I move on to the next song, I want, obviously you can't give us a full opinion just yet, but I still want to ask this. This is what we do here. What would you prefer as your opener? Like, which is your best opener now? Is it, and Eliana, obviously, is it Milo Siloto and Hurts Like Heaven? the Charlie Chaplin speech into Head Full of Dreams, or Music of the Spheres into High Power? Which is your favorite one? Ian, I can start
It's
with you.
Square One into Politic.
All right. Well, that was not one of the.
No. Honestly, I
Let's
want to
try.
experience. So here's the thing. We were all kind of nervous about this. Well, I was nervous about the set list prior to the actual tour, because the promotion set list was High Power into Clocks, and I felt like Clocks, and then Clocks into Fix You, and I just felt like you start here and then you're going down, and I wanted them to keep the energy going, the positivity. I wanted it to be a massive celebration, and I didn't know what should be song 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so song 2 was bothering me because it takes away from Higher Power's amazing energy.
Yeah.
So, but if I had to choose between, well, you can't ask me because I've not been to a show really, a stadium show really, but I had so many amazing experiences on Head Full of Dreams as well, where my friends would be jokingly singing the opera song on high pitch voices and things like that. And on Milo, I love Back to the Future as well. So, you know, it's hard to pick.
Okay.
Eliana, you go.
This is a tough one. From a musical standpoint, I will choose Milo into Hurts Like Heaven, but only because I'm really a sucker to whatever Chris plays on the piano. If it is just one note or two notes, if I see him on the piano, it makes me so happy. And there's something very cool just looking at him playing, and then the song starts, and it's great. But from the anticipation standpoint, I think Music of the Spheres works better. Just like we said before, you see the band on the screen, and then they walk through by. It's a different energy, you know. So I can't pick between those two, to be honest. I mean, they're great, but for different reasons. Yeah, okay. It's hard to choose one.
Abhi, we know your answer, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously politic right now. I think it has to be the song, because I wasn't lucky enough to experience the Milo Siloto tour. So for me, I've seen the videos obviously, and they all look absolutely incredible. But I just feel like in terms of anticipation and everything, it's so incredible. It's such, I don't know, it's hard to explain. A lot of this set list is going to be very hard to put into words because it's so euphoric, and you kind of don't have words left anymore. Describe it. So I think, yeah, that, and to compare, the only one I can really compare it to is Head Full of Dreams, and this one's better than Head Full of Dreams for sure. So with that, let's go into the next song, which Ian, you were talking about, continuing the energy flow, is Adventure for Lifetime, back into a Head Full of Dreams. And the beach balls are back, and it starts. There's not much of a pause. It just starts. Johnny Swift starts. And I will say, we know that Adventure for Lifetime is a song that's popular and has been remembered just by the crowd's reaction. Everyone remembers this song. No one's forgotten it in stadiums, not even in the US. So just goes to show that, you know, even sometimes if we think, oh, Coldplay aren't that popular anymore, nah, people remember all their songs. They're super, super well known. Great energy. And Eliana, why don't you go? Let me look at some of the stuff that's coming in the chat here. Yep. What did you think about Adventure for Lifetime?
Again, the energy is very high at this point. I love the fact that from the second song, they're already involving the band. You know that everybody's gonna jump up and down, and he's gonna be like, okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then everybody jumps, and it's like, you know, it's insane. So I think it's a great way to get the crowd involved from the get-go. Lots of energy, very colorful. Love the beach balls. So again, that's great choice for a second song.
Yeah. Ian, is Adventure for Lifetime everything you wanted it to be for the second song?
I think it is, because when we were doing our own set list and when we made the set list tool, what I saw a lot of people doing was kind of falling into the promotion set list, and also reminiscing too much maybe on what Head Full of Dreams offered us, which was, you know, Viva La Vida into Adventure, which worked well. I think even in the promotion shows, they did that Viva outro where it kind of, like at the Super Bowl when they first premiered it, where it, the world, and then it spins into Adventure. So it felt like that was going to stick around at that spot, but I'm so happy they put it as song 2. They keep the energy going, and it just creates this. I keep saying I've not been there yet, but it looks like it just generates this massive party energy, and everyone's bouncing, and it's incredible to watch viscerally for your guys' footage.
No, I think
it's working really well.
Yeah,
it really is. And I think, see, most people still haven't been to Victoria, so kind of your viewpoint is valuable too, because then we can say what parts you're kind of hitting on correctly. Some of the things that are coming on in the chat here, we've having some questions if Color Tour will be played in Chicago. And we'll get to the Color Tour part. Just to answer this question specifically, maybe. You never say never. They've been on a small break, but we don't know. We have no idea.
If you watch the last stream, you'll know that Abhi was told that they were going to play Color Tour, and then they didn't play it, right?
Yeah.
So even they don't know. Even when they say they're going to do it, they might not do it. So
yeah.
So have to wait.
Well, just wait like this. But I think the one thing I do want to say, now that we are on this topic, is it's not missed in some ways, because the show is so good and it's so insane that you will still have such an amazing time. Yeah, you'll wish you could hear one song here or there, or 2 songs here or there. But
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Couple of other comments here, asking recommendations where to stand. I would say around the B stage would be probably your best bet. But again, I think anywhere on the floor you'll have a great time. If you don't want to be around lots of people, then you can still stand up and back. But, yeah.
Guys side on the catwalk, you'll have a great time, because they're going to walk past you, and then you've got great view. Here's the problem: they've got a massive camera right in the middle of the B stage.
Yeah.
If you're planning to be there, and they've also got the stairs with the frame blocking some views. So if you stood there, you could have a pole right across your line of sight where the band should be when they're on the main stage. So just be careful with B stage positioning. Along the catwalk on guys' side is my recommendation for this tour.
I agree. That's a good recommendation.
Or right on the side and just dance away like one of the higher power aliens. Have fun. That's the most important part. Yeah.
I think so. I agree. Have fun. Let's get into the next song. Immediately after a song from Head Full of Dreams, we go into a song from Milo Xylo to Paradise. Again, keeping up the energy, keeping up the. I think now it's more an exercise in reminding people, like, these are the songs we did. These are all super popular. You all remember them, and no remix this time.
It's all new Coldplay. None of it's old play.
Not yet. Not yet.
No, not yet. I feel like with previous set lists, they've tried to make sure that one of the classics is in the first 3. And last tour it was Yellow. Previous tours it's been like In My Place.
Yeah.
Or Clocks in Viva tour. So this is the first time they've gone old play is not in our songs.
Yeah, I agree. I think it comes later, but I agree. I think it's more of like, well, we've been around for 24 odd years. Let's try and get
Paradise is 10 years old now.
Yeah, more.
11.
More
oh
11,
my God! Yeah, you're right.
It gets people going too. I mean, it's a great song.
Yes,
it really is. And I think it gives Chris a quick rest on sitting on the bench as well. While he's already running around for like 2 songs, right? So
that's one thing I wanted to pick up that we didn't mention in Adventure or Higher Power. The iconic Chris Martin jump that he did in the Super Bowl and obviously on Head Full of Dreams tour, it's gone. I don't think his knees can handle it.
No, I agree. But
he's got some good moves to compensate.
He really does. I think the jump is gone because it's also not needed, really. The show's production kind of takes care of that euphoric setting anyway. But he's still as energetic as ever, still running around everywhere, still making sure every part of the ramp is being attended to by him.
Yeah.
So
He
I,
was doing about
so,
10 of those jumps per night on Head Full of Dreams tour.
yeah,
And there
he
was at least 150 shows. So that's a
yeah,
lot of
That's a lot.
jumps.
Yeah.
yeah. My knees start hurting after one show. So I mean,
yeah, just standing in the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Quick question you're getting asked, like, will the stream be available to watch later? Yes, it will.
Yes.
It will.
Yeah. If you
So
need to go and do your thing, go do your thing. If you want to stay with us and share your hot takes, stick around.
Absolutely. Let's so yeah, the Paradise. Any final thoughts on Paradise, Eliana? No remix this time. Do you like it without the remix, or are you missing the Paradise remix?
Uh, I miss it a little bit, but to be honest, I feel like Paradise with the remix in A Head Full of Dreams, it sort of gave like an electronic element to the show.
Mhm.
And this time around, we have a whole section, which is something that we're going to talk later. So I think it works to have the normal version of the song. At first, I was, I was like, I missed that. And I was already used to it. So I was like, it's not the same. But then I started to think about it and I was like, yeah, it's not necessary. We have an entire section which is crazy with a lot of electronic elements and color.
Right.
So yeah, I'm fine with it.
I think the song after really helps with that as well.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
that's true. Yes.
With it being Charlie Brown coming next.
Yeah, and let's get into Charlie Brown.
I was just going to say the Paradise remix was a major highlight of Head Full of Dreams set list. I remember my dad, I was just watching, I think it was Big Weekend 2016, I think it was in Exeter. I was watching it on TV, and my dad's a Coldplay fan, and he come running in the room when I was just watching saying, what is this for Paradise? He was like, they have to re-release this. I was like, they did release it 10 years ago, and nobody really listened then. But, yeah.
I think it was a great part. I don't miss it that. I mean, some part of me misses it, but also, I mean, I think there's enough going on in the show for me to completely forget about it in a minute or so. And we get into the next song, the premiere song of the last tour, which is Charlie Brown, the one that kind of everyone waited for, the one where Chris asked us to put our phone away, etc., which he now reserves for. Ian, you and I agreed, the best song, Sky Full of Stars. But it's still not a bad shout. And just what a way to start a concert. So much energy and so much euphoria. And I will say in some ways it passes by really quickly, but also it does not because each song is so huge that you're kind of in it the entire time. Yeah, I think that's a sensational way to get people going. What a way to start a concert. It's euphoric.
It's only the first 4 songs.
It's just the first songs.
But the best thing about it is the energy doesn't feel like it lets up, even in its quieter moments that come later.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like the energy ever lets up. There's still massive anthems that are placed throughout the set. Let's keep that energy so high.
Absolutely.
It's amazing they have such a discography to be able to do that.
Yes.
And also the performances that having the songs is one thing, and then being able to perform them like they do, it's mind blowing.
It's so great. And Chris was talking about this last when we all met him for the Humankind thing as well. Someone mentioned about playing some songs, and he said, we have so many songs now. It was like almost like stressed about it. It's like, what do I do? So they really, I think they're so blessed to have the selection that they do, and they do such a good job with it.
By the way, the Abhi is over relatable host party is still ongoing. So.
Yes, so
hashtag away.
It's okay. Still working on my resignation letter. It's taking a while.
Charlie Brown, love it. It looked like it had some production issues early on. The wristbands weren't doing the normal thing, which was kind of weird. They tried different intros with like Humankind intros, but it feels like they've come full circle. They've gone, okay, whatever we're trying hasn't really worked. Let's go back to the original. Let's get the multicolored wristbands going. Let's give the people the moment they know. And I mean, they put out an Instagram story, and they should have put it as a reel. So we did it. We put it as a reel, and I think it's got like 500,000 views. So that's how insane of a moment it is in the show still, even after, let's say, changing the industry since 2011. So 11 years since, it's still a mind-blowing moment in the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think yeah, it's such a so much great energy, and then we get into the first song that kind of takes a pause, and that is the scientist. Then now we go back to
Yes.
old Coldplay, um, and this is the one that everyone knows still. Everyone sings out loud. Eliana, what did you think of this placement, and how it comes after such a euphoric and energetic start?
I think it works great. Like you said, it pleases old Coldplay fans, which is great. And everybody knows that song. In
Yeah.
old fans, new fans, people that maybe are casual listeners. So
Mhm.
everybody's screaming at the beginning of the song and then everybody's singing along. So
Yeah,
even
everybody's
though
crying at the end.
and everybody's crying. Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but you already
You
said
can
it.
say
So
that, don't worry.
yeah, there's a lot of crying in a lot of songs. So yeah, I think it works. Obviously, there's a little bit of a change of pace compared to Paradise, but I don't see it as a bad thing. And also, I feel like it sort of gets the older crowd involved a little bit. Obviously, some people are not familiar with higher power. It's fine. There's a lot of different crowds. Um, but I think it's something that sort of pulls them in case that they're not like completely feeling the show. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. But I love when the stadium starts to scream very loud. Everybody knows that song word by word. So
Yeah, yeah, I think it's kind of important as well to kind of take a step back and just firstly let people give people an opportunity and the band to catch a breath. But also,
true.
I think it's also a great song in terms of it's still very well remembered, still a huge classic, over a billion streams on Spotify. So you gotta have all these classics back in.
It wins every Coldplay poll. If you put that song up against any Coldplay song, the scientist always wins.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not going anywhere. It has to be on the set list, and it's a very good spot. I
Mhm.
want to ask, because I've not seen how it plays out, but at the end of Charlie Brown, do they play the piano piece like into the scientist opening chords, or does it just kind of finish with the crescendo and then the scientist?
I believe they do. I believe there is the piano chords because
I
that's a
don't
good drum.
remember. But I'm
Okay.
gonna trust Abhi. He says that they play it, and probably they do.
I can confirm it again in this weekend, but I'm pretty
Yeah, yeah,
sure
yeah.
pretty sure that is there.
I
It's
mean,
a
it
Because
makes
beautiful
sense.
piece.
It makes
yeah,
sense to have it. It ties both songs together. So.
It's a beautiful piece.
and
And I think
speaking,
it ends on the perfect chord anyway for him to start the scientist.
Yes.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of tying songs together,
And
we then
transitions.
we then transition into Viva La Vida through playing the scientist backwards, both on the screens as well as the audio. Obviously, it's pre-recorded; it's not actually happening while they're transitioning over to the B stage. Interesting choice for Viva La Vida, but I think it makes an incredible amount of sense. Everyone knows the song, so we know it's going to be an anthem, and they're right in the middle of the crowd, which is where you want to be for the chanting. But that transition into Viva is just stunning. I mean, I took a video of that in Dallas, and I've shown that video to a lot of like friends who are not like major Coldplay fans, and even they like look at that and they're like, "Oh my God, that is absolutely incredible." So whoever thought of that, well, the whole band thought of it, but whoever kind of came up with that idea first, kudos, because that is
Yes.
absolutely incredible. Big highlight for the show.
What I really like about it is because they used to do that on X and Y tour with the backwards play for the scientist, and they used to have the old Kodak cameras and then they throw them out.
Mhm.
And there's other moments in this set, like with the classic songs, where they really, pull back some production things that have worked out well in previous tours from those classic shows 15 years ago or so.
Right.
This people say, oh, it works so perfectly into Viva, which is the next song on the B stage, but they do pitch it up so it it's not just that seamless that it works perfectly. They do pitch it up so that the key is right for Viva to come in.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
it looks amazing.
it really does. Seeing the chat here, someone talking about in terms of human connection, singing along with 50,000 people in the stadium is something incredibly emotional, and everyone is singing because everyone knows it's just. And they're talking about the scientist.
Yeah.
But I absolutely
Nobody said it was easy. Like perfect words for the
no.
last years.
Yeah.
That's gonna make anyone emotional.
Absolutely.
I remember. So you guys, you both traveled to your shows as well. Like, and not to encourage flying around the world to see Coldplay, but when you have traveled and you do hear those words, sometimes it's just you can well up with emotion anyway if you've made that big of an effort to go, and it can just catch you off guard at sometimes, like, oh yeah, it's the scientist, big song, blah blah blah. And then the song will hit you and it'll smack you like I don't know, like a brick in the face. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Too many feelings. Just one
Yeah.
song.
You're like, oh shit. It's happened to me with The Scientist a few times. Happened to me with Paradise once. I was like, why am I getting emotional to Paradise? It just happens.
It really does. I think this is an overarching theme in just seeing Coldplay live. Is like, yeah, there are a lot of hit songs, obviously, because it's a stadium show and you have a lot of people you need to entertain. You can't just entertain the 2,000 who know your latest songs, etc. But when you're there, it's such a different world compared to listening to a Paradise sitting in your room, because it's hard to imagine,
Yes.
especially in the last 2.5 years. It's so hard to imagine being with so many thousands and thousands of people and singing back the song. So same with Viva La Vida. When the chant starts, even though I've done that chant many, many times, it still hits
In the shower.
so well.
Yeah.
Yes, I gotta do some vocal practice for the streams, So
Yeah. No, but it's right, because like Coldplay means so much to you. So when you're enjoying it with other people who really love that as well, it just amplifies, creates incredible sensations.
It really does. It's so good. Um, I have no other thoughts on Viva La Vida. It's a perfect song. It's a stadium anthem. It's one of the classic songs. It's its birthday. Happy birthday, Viva La Vida. Um, you will
I
always
love that they
be.
do it on the B stage. That's my only
Yeah,
real comment here.
it's a great choice. I agree.
I don't know how they do it, but yeah. I guess they do it when obviously the scientist is on and they get the church bell there and everything, but it just feels like it just magically appears. Oh, there's the church bell here, and
Yeah. Very few.
It just happens.
Exactly. Very few hiccups or like transition errors. I feel like they've obviously perfected that in the last few shows, but just it. I think they do a great job. Um, and then we immediately go into Him for the Weekend, which is the same transition that they had last time. I think. No, that went to Adventure of a Lifetime. But Him for the Weekend and Viva La Vida were all kind of close
in
to
the
each
same.
other.
Yeah, they were close to each other. Yeah.
And I know initially Orphans was placed here, but then when they tried Him for the Weekend in the next show, it had such a huge crowd reaction, and it did this time in Dallas for me as well. That I didn't understand why they had to put that song kind of there. And of course we have a Confetti Shower again. Um, but Eliana, did you have Him for the Weekend in your show as well?
Yes, I did. I think it's one of the songs that has become a stadium, song. It's a very big song, lots of color and confetti everywhere. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it to be so soon into the set list, but it works very great. And I think also it's one of the songs that got a lot of radio airplay, and a lot of people know it and they sing along. So it works great because also Viva La Vida, it's big hit, everybody knows it. So the energy is very similar in those two songs. So I think it works great. And well, I didn't experience Orphans, so I will know, but I think Orphans doesn't work that well compared to Him for the Weekend. The energy is not the same, and a lot of people are not really familiar with most of the songs in everyday life. So I think it was better to switch those two. I think Him for the Weekend works better overall.
It was definitely the right choice. And I think we asked Phil, there were songs that people were worried about that wouldn't get played, like Every Teardrop and Hymn for the Weekend. And it looked like they weren't going to try Hymn for the Weekend based on the first show. But I think Orphans, was a little bit too left field for a lot of the concert goers, and it just flattened the energy. And like Chris says, they're addicted to that energy of just feeling amazing. And Hymn for the Weekend has been massively successful. I think it's, if you combine Hymn for the Weekend and the Sea remix, which was very successful, especially in the US, it becomes their second most streamed song.
Yeah.
So, it's for a lot of fans, it just has to be there on the set list as well. And they know it and they love it. So, super fans might think differently of it. That's okay. But locals want to hear it, and locals will sing it as loud as they can with all of their lungs.
Exactly.
The only thing I would pick at is, and I picked it in private on the Head Full of Dreams stories, the confetti shot is maybe not necessary at the end. It just doesn't feel necessary to me. And it shoot across the sky. Well, shoot a firework across the sky or something. You can. The confetti shot happens a bit too much sometimes.
Okay. I don't have a strong opinion.
Personal hot take. Yeah.
So that's our first big hot take. Okay. I don't mind it. Give me all the confetti you want. It's alright. I don't care.
It's a Coldplay show.
It's a Coldplay show. I'm there to get confetti all into my hair and then find it 7 days later. I did not even know I had confetti.
Yes.
I think I agree. I feel like after a song like Viva La Vida, you can't get into an Orphans. It's just not that well known. And because Viva has so much energy, you have to come down to, you can't come down like to that level. So I get the placement and I agree. I think it's still a fun song. So no major complaints from me. We'll get into the Orphans debate maybe a little bit later. But
I think it gets that at least you tried Bart Simpson cake mean gift treatment.
Yes. At least you tried. That's fair enough. And then we get into Let Somebody Go. 6 songs after Higher Power, we have our next song from Music of the Spheres. And it's slow and quiet moment in the show. In some ways, it's much needed, I would say. It's definitely a direct replacement for Everglow. In some ways, except that it doesn't have a speech element to it. I don't mind it. I think it's great. I like the song. I never disliked the song. Some people might not be super thrilled by it, but I think you need a quieter song there. You need a song where it's just Chris on a piano, and everyone calms down for 1 second. But Eliana, do you have any other opinions on?
I agree with you. I mean, before that point, I think everybody's close to having a heart attack because there's a lot of energy, and you need that element to. Okay, we're gonna drop it down a little bit, and like you said, just having Chris on the piano, it's fantastic. So yeah, I agree with you.
That's when Eliana's happiest, apparently.
Yes.
I think we said, Abhi, in our Music of the Spheres review that we actually preferred Let Somebody Go over Everglow and over Open Flames. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually been quietly away. Maybe super fans won't admit it, but it's been quite a hit. It's done okay with numbers and streaming. And, you guys in the stadium, you will have heard people singing it at the back and the echo around, when it comes to the bigger moments in the song. And yes, there were that with Everglow. I don't know. For me, Let Somebody Go is a stronger, more meaningful and deeper, harder hitting song than Everglow. It's a better Everglow.
I agree. I especially its outro is very good because if I was closer to the B stage and I can see the expression on Chris's face and he's really into that song. He's really deeply into that song and he sings it with 120%, like he does everything. But it's just, it feels like a more authentic, better performance because of that.
And I just want to drop a line. I tweeted this once before, I think. But people give Chris shit for writing songs like that. But people forget he's channeling pain, the energy and pain from one of the most traumatic parts of his life.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very meaningful to him. Even if you don't care for it much, it's important to him.
Exactly.
So at least he's into it.
Exactly. I 100% agree. And with that, we end with the B stage. And then we're back into the A stage. And we're now back into an A stage. And this is my hot take here. We get into In My Place. Okay. Now we have it's the Milo Xyloto version, but there's a huge disco ball there as well, which creates an very interesting light effect and production and everything. And a lot of older fans or pre-fans of like old Coldplay love it, and they're all singing the yeah part really loudly. And it's definitely better than it was on the C stage. I think it hits better. However,
Yes.
my big talking point here is we have three songs now from A Rush of Blood to the Head in this whole set list. We'll have two from Head Full of Dreams, two from Milo, two from Parachutes, one from Ghost Stories, one from X and Y, one from Viva La Vida, and sometimes one and about one from Everyday Life. Maybe two if you're really lucky. So A Rush of Blood to the Head has three, and I'm not counting Music of the Spheres because that's the tour, so most of the songs are played. Rush of Blood to the Head has three songs now. Do we think, and this is what I think, do we think that the distribution is okay? Should we put like a Viva song in here? An album that won a Grammy, an album that's really loved by a lot of people. I think I love In My Place, and it's still a great part, and I don't have an issue with it, but I just feel like for me, I think if they put like, I don't know, a
Did you
Violet Hill.
know In My Place won Best Rock Song Grammys against all the punk rock
Oh, God.
era going on?
I know.
You
I
can't just
know.
throw it under the
I
bus like that.
I get it, but
No,
it's been so old.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you on there could be a different song there, definitely.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear the stadium version of In My Place because it was absolutely magical on Milo tour. I think Eliana can agree with that as well. And you know, it's always been a great moment in shows. I remember on X and Y, it was like the song before the last song, everyone was singing along. That was at the time the big anthem.
hmm
So in
Yeah.
some ways, it's for me, it's funny to watch them because it feels like they play it at a tempo that's a bit slower than it was in 2012 as well, because they haven't played it as much for 10 years or whatever. So it actually feels like those old parachutey days, and they put the orange visuals back
Yeah.
there, you know, and it's like, hey, remember when we were this band? We used to be a real band.
Yeah, yeah.
So could it be
I
a
agree.
Viva song? Yes. Could it be an Everyday Life song? Would love it to be. But
Love it to be, but you know.
in My
Um,
Place, everyone's going to sing along. Everyone knows it. Won Grammys.
I think it's important to have it on the set list. Again, I'm thinking about the old Coldplay fans. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
type of song that they're expecting, and I know a lot of people loved A Rush of Blood to the Head. So, I mean, it's okay. If you ask me, I will switch it for something from X and Y. I know Chris is not a big fan, but I would love to see Speed of Sound at least once. So that would be awesome. Or something from Viva La Vida. I don't know, Lovers in Japan, Violet
Would
Hill,
work amazing.
something like that. I think it will work great as well. But I don't think it's a bad choice.
right.
Will I change it? Sure, but I'm thinking about the old fans, and they probably expect to hear that type of songs.
It's the first song we come to that's probably changeable.
Yes.
If we're all
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what 7 songs in. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good ratio. But even that, I mean, again, as I said, it's a great part. It's a great song. People love it. People sing along to it. Johnny has that one bit where he's pushed into the front and he's uncomfortably like the band leader for like 10, 20 seconds. And then I remember one or two parts where Chris, when he turned around a little bit too quickly, and Chris just said in the mic, "No, go back." And then he went back. Poor guy. So I mean, you get those fun moments as well. I'm just reading the chat here. Couple of things. Someone mentioning that it would be a lot of fun to be a Coldplay crew member roadie. I agree, but it would also be a lot of work, and I would need really good shoes because
Yes.
that would require a lot of walking and being on your
Those
feet.
guys are amazing.
They're
And I can tell you, they'll enjoy the show 1 to 7 times, but then after that, they've forgotten about it and they're just busy doing their job.
they're there to do their jobs. Great job, but it is a job after a while.
Yeah.
Um, couple of other comments here. Chris brought a fan on stage to sing. Let somebody go with him, and that was really amazing to watch as well. Yes, I agree. Um, I think I saw the girl who went up her TikTok.
Yeah.
That TikTok went viral as well. So it
I
was
think she called
quite cool.
Tatiana, if I
Ah,
remember.
yes, Tatiana. Yeah, I think she's from Honduras, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
so.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a flag. Yeah.
Yes. Great moment. I agree. Um, someone asking, is it the third Rush song though? Oh yeah. So the Scientist, Clocks, which we'll get to, and In My Place. So that'll be three Rush Blood to the Head songs. Someone else was saying, easy solution, just have a 6-hour show. JK.
Yeah. There you go.
You know what? That's right. We can end the stream right here. That was a great
Yeah.
suggestion. We don't need no
That's a
more
great
Just
debating.
play
conclusion. That's it.
all the songs.
All of the songs.
Right.
We'll provide them with some protein bars and juice if they want some.
That's what needs to happen on the tour now. Whoever's on the bike
Yeah,
gets to if you do so much, you get to select the song,
yeah,
the
exactly.
next song. Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be great.
that would
I'm
be
gonna try to do the bike thing on the second show in Bogota, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should be able to pick one.
I really want to as well. It'll be a lot of fun. All right,
Yeah.
let's get back into finishing. So this is Act 2, by the way. So I just want to quickly recap the Act 2 is B stage Viva, Him for the Weekend, Let Somebody Go. 8th stage In My Place, and now 8th stage we have Yellow, and that goes into
Yes.
Sunrise. I don't have any major points on Yellow. It's an all-time classic. Every single person in the world knows it. It's the first hit. It's still a huge hit. People still love the song. It is perfectly placed. And in some ways, Moons is kind of a little bit of a throwbacky part of their acts, with a lot more songs from the 2000s than 2010s. They only have one song or two songs from 2010s. Um, so
Yeah, I don't know if the acts are really that strong.
I'm just trying to play along with that team, really.
I know.
I don't really understand them that deeply either. But it works. Great song. Everyone loves it. I remember in Dallas, one of the cutest moments I saw was there was a couple standing right in front of me and they were having a great time and they knew all the songs clearly. But Yellow was their song, and the moment the first chords played for Yellow
They
and
went
all that,
crazy.
Yes.
they went absolutely ballistic, and then they just held each other for the entire song. It was very cute and very, very wholesome.
The
So
power of Coldplay.
it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Great song, as good as always. I'm really glad it's not the acoustic one that they were doing in the promo shows. In some,
Yeah.
that was fun too, but I think Yellow needs its own a stage performance.
Yes, I agree.
With that, we go into Sunrise. Very, very beautiful part of the show. And they do the whole Sunrise, and there's a speech that goes on in the back too. I forgot by who it was. I was supposed to know this. But I think it's a great part of the show. All the lights dim down, the rest of the band kind of takes a break, and Chris gets ready for the next act, which starts off with Human Heart. This is our first appearance of the puppet, which I believe is one of the main reasons why we have the audience we have today, because they want to know our opinions.
Yes.
And Human Heart goes into People of Pride. But let's talk about Human Heart. Eliana, I believe you have some opinions that you want to tell us.
I don't
Let us
like
know
the
if
puppet.
you're a team puppet. Let us
I'm
know if you're
not.
team puppet in the chat.
She's not. Yeah.
I don't know who's team. I mean, probably some people like the puppet. I don't. I know a lot of people don't like Human Heart as a song. I'm not sure why. I love ethereal vocals without any instruments and just. I mean, those songs. I think they're beautiful and sort of reminded me of Church a little bit, in the sense that the production is different. But I think the puppet sort of kills the mood for me, to be honest. At first, I was like, I don't know why there's a puppet there in this song and everything. It's like, I don't know. I don't think it matches the vibe of the song, to be honest. So I love the song, and I love that it's part of the set list. I know a lot of people will switch that song for something from another album. I think it's okay to have it, but I would rather have it without that puppet. I mean, I understand that it sort of ties the entire show together, and then at the very end, you sort of understand what they're going for, but I'm not a big fan of the puppet, to be honest.
All right. Ian, what do you think?
the polar opposite. I love the puppet.
Oh,
I think it's
really?
fantastic. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. It brings
Wow.
together like the main theme of what your t-shirt says. Everyone is an alien somewhere. And
Yes.
yeah, your reaction might be to laugh or to think, what the fuck is this? But that's the exact point, because people over centuries have been saying, what the fuck is that? And laughing at other people when they shouldn't have been, or, not treating each other as humans. So it actually plays in very well with the theme. It kills the seriousness of the song, perhaps, for some people, but the underlying message is actually very powerful. And I think it's going to tie in very well. We obviously know about the weirdos and all this kind of stuff that's coming, where there's now a band of puppets. Maybe it ties into Aurora, the annex planet, who people forgot about, and these are maybe the characters from that planet. We don't know how it's all going to play out. Maybe it's they're the musical characters who we're going to see in the film later on in a few years. We have no idea. So I'm all for the puppet. I think it's wonderful. And I think I said this in the last stream, but it creates that moment where you can go to on the Head Full of Dreams, you can, next day you meet friends, you say, oh, I went to see Coldplay last night. How was it? Yeah, it was great. There was, they did the songs very well. There was some fireworks, some confetti. Great. And then you can say that all about this set, but you can say, oh, and they have this puppet. What? Like, yeah. so it's just like that. What the hell moments. And and then with the alien heads for the light club later, like, and then they put these things on and started doing this rave a Coldplay show. Really? Oh, this sounds like it catches people off guard, keeps it interesting, keeps it lighthearted, which is the theme. Have a good time. Don't take things too seriously. But underneath all that, I think is a very important message.
Okay, I see your point.
There's some people. Okay. Yes, we have some puppet fans in the chat.
We do. That's Brooke. Brooke, puppets for life. Nice to see you again, Brooke. The puppet is awesome. Quite wow. We have some fans here. Maybe people are turning. My opinion on this is it's a bit mixed. Okay, I don't actually mind the puppet that much. Really, I think it's fine. I don't think it's even that funny or anything of that sort, and I get it. But I think my only gripe as such is that the rest of the show feels so insanely well done in such high production value that a puppet after that feels a bit cheaper in some ways, just in terms of production.
I hope you don't tell Coldplay's production team that, because it looked like they paid the exact team who made the Muppets originally. Yes. They'll be very rich from it.
Oh, well.
So it would have cost them a lot of money. They did, yeah, I know they did, because they tagged them. So it's cost them a lot of money to get those puppets in. So.
Well, I don't know. I think it's just, I'll tell you what the thing is.
The performers are great. Like the voices never miss or anything, and the arms, the body movement. I loved how each puppet had their own little thing. Sorry,
I
agree. Taking away from you.
I think it's great in terms of I mean, I don't laugh at it or anything. I think it's fine, and I understand your point as well. And it's really not that big of an issue for me. It's more of I'll tell you what my thought is. When it comes up on the big, massive, super high HD screen, everyone gets really taken aback by it, and I think that's the one thing. I think that's the audience reaction is interesting. That's basically what the audience reaction is. But
that's the point.
With all that said, I actually don't mind it that much. I don't understand people who make their personality all about hating the puppet in the light club right now in the set list. That I don't understand at all.
They'll change when they've seen the show live. Hopefully, I don't know, so. Eliana, you're still against the puppet though.
Still against the puppet.
I mean,
but you love the light club, I think, right?
Yes, I love that. Yeah, but so. I think, I mean, at my show we didn't have the weirdos, so I only had that puppet, and that was it. So it feels weird, but I don't know. Maybe it makes sense now, and maybe I'm gonna like it. I don't know. But you have a very good point. I hadn't thought about it.
They probably know it is potentially a bathroom break song as well, which they don't like. So this kind of, if somewhat, if your partner went to the bathroom and you came back and you're like, did I miss anything? Yeah, there was a puppet on screen singing along. What?
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's also true.
Well, I will. This one thing. Some people. I was talking to someone, and they was like, "How do people take bathroom breaks?" They're like, "Yeah. Have you seen people in the stands? A lot of people leave their seats and go out for like 5, 10 minutes and then come back to the show. They're not the biggest fans. They will take a break once in a while. So maybe, um,
you got to
it's
go when you got to go.
you gotta go when you gotta go.
Yeah.
The new production since Dallas show with the hearts in the crowd.
Oh
Fantastic.
yeah, let's get to the song at least. Yeah, the hearts in the crowd is so beautiful. Oh my God, that's incredible.
I didn't get that, for example. So
They-
maybe that's why my
Yeah.
whole experience is different in that song.
I think that's the thing. By the time you get your shows again, Eliana, you might see quite a few production changes because they keep evolving and trying to make things better. So hopefully, by the time you go next time around, and just seeing the chat here again, we've had a lot of support for the puppet. Is someone asking replace the puppet with the person or something? Like I don't know. I don't think it would work. Someone saying, imagine how We Are King feel being replaced by a puppet. I think We Are King have toured enough with Coldplay. I think they're more than fine. Honestly.
So I actually thought that the support act, because a lot of the support acts have been female so far, I thought that they might be the ones. And if they were local to that stadium, then that's an amazing opportunity for them to get on stage with Coldplay and sing that part of the song. That didn't happen. They've gone with the puppets. There's something very important with the puppets.
Yeah, and it'll tie into something for sure. And the most important part about it is that it goes into People of the Pride. And I strongly believe that People of the Pride would not hit the way it does if Human Heart was not before it. This is something I live by very strongly. And People of the Pride ended God Put a Smile Upon Your Face. It ended any other rocky, hard rock songs that were there. It is absolutely stunning. It is incredible. I think a lot of people don't know it yet, at least the locals. And the first time they hear it, they all lose their mind, like, "Oh my God, we did not expect this at all."
Yes.
I can't wait for that song later in the year when a lot more people know it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I'm surprised it's not had. I expected to see like major mosh pits and head banging going on in the crowd, but I'm seeing statues, which tells me maybe the song hasn't been elevated as much as it should, or people are just like, "Whoa, this is different." Like, it's just shockingly different, and wow. So,
Eliana, did people enjoy the song around you?
Yes, they did. I think a lot of people weren't really familiar with it, but just the energy and the production and everything, people were very into it. And I think I said that in the last stream. It's one of my favorite parts of the show, so I'm all for it. Amazing.
No, I agree. I agree. It's not going anywhere. Just reading the chat here, a couple of things popping up. The puppet is awesome because it looks like it has a sharp voice or like a high pitched voice. I agree. Someone saying hi from England, hello, and
hi sir.
People of the Pride is really that different on live. Yeah, People of the Pride is so good live. My boyfriend doesn't like People of the Pride, but live he changed his mind. It really is. I think it's because it's just amped up, really, and it's supposed to be a stadium rock anthem song. Like your headphones are not going to do justice to that song. I'll tell you the thing I saw. I took a video of the intro of People of the Pride from Dallas, and when the song first started, it was statues, like you said. But when the Johnny's guitar went, and then the flames started going, and we started getting into it. Everyone's hands were up. Everyone was enjoying. They were like, "Oh my God, this is great! I'm loving this song so much." So,
Good.
big hit. And then we get into the other contentious part of the show, which is the Light Club. The Light Club is, of course, a remix of the Infinity Sign. Every Teardrop is a Waterfall. A little bit of Something Just Like This, and then the Midnight remix. So all of those are kind of packed up into a 7 minute thing. what do you think about it? Is this? I know, Ian, you're a fan. So I want to ask Eliana again. Did you have fun? Did you think it was a cool part of the show? Was it a little bit silly? What did you think?
I think it's a little bit silly, but it's also very cool. And as I said before, I think again, I said this in the last stream. One of my favorite parts of the show. Um, I think it's a very electronic sound, and like I think I said this also earlier. I think it sort of mixes good songs in a very interesting way, and it sort of replaces the remix from Paradise. So um, I think it works great, and from a production standpoint, also very cool. Lots of color. The alien heads are a little bit silly, to be honest, but once you see this live, it sort of makes sense. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Apparatchik, this big band that Guy Berryman had with other people from
Hmm.
Aha and Mew. I remember that I saw some videos of them performing, and they also had these helmets that look, I don't know, very weird. And for some reason, it kind of makes me feel like Guy a little, he had a little bit to do with that section. Um, so yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. I'm really looking forward to it again. Wonderful.
Yeah, Ian, any thoughts? I know you love this part as well.
I do. Um, I love they do something just like this, full stop. 'Cause that song, I think, takes a lot of heat from superfans. Some superfans, they don't like it as much. Chain smokers, blah, blah, blah. Truth is, it's their most successful song of the last 10 years. And
Yeah.
there's a lot
That's
of
true.
locals who love it. And you'll know when you've been to the shows, it's actually very, very enjoyable live.
Yeah.
Especially like the outro with Johnny's guitar ripping through and all that.
Hmm.
Fantastic song. Well, not fantastic, but it's good.
Good song. Yeah, it's a good song. Solid song.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
But I love that Chris has learned it in sign language as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
that's for me one of the, when I saw that he might be doing it in one of the first shows on like a potato stream, I was like, is he really doing that? And it took us a few shows to really understand he is doing that.
Hmm.
And I think it's just wonderful that, and they have the fans with on the side who are have hearing difficulties, but they've supported them with the vibration packs that they can put on their chest and their back, so they can feel the beats to music or amplify the music in different ways.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And they have interpreters, obviously.
Yeah.
I love that part. And I think by putting on the alien heads, Chris looks very free to just be himself and just joke
That's
around.
true.
I don't know how the other guys feel about it. I don't know how Johnny feels about it. Guy looks like he's in his element. He's got the coolest helmet in my head.
Yes.
Really?
I agree.
Not Will's helmet? I love Will's helmet.
Will's is very Will. They're all very them, aren't they?
They're really.
But I think Guy's the cool guy, isn't he? So
Yes, that's true.
he's a fashion model, and I think if I had to pick one of the alien heads to own, I'd probably pick Guy's.
Perfect, guys. Okay.
And I feel like he really enjoys that part, which is why I have the feeling that he had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah.
I think he enjoys it, and the interaction between them. I mean, I don't know how Johnny or Will feel about it, but I think at some point they enjoy it, just looking at the interaction between them. Or maybe they're just getting used to it. So by now it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Why not?
Because Will starts on the drums at the back, and then he comes forward for the Low Moon Midnight remix, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Also, one song I did forget, I'm seeing the chat, was Clocks, which came kind of before this. But Clocks is incredible. It's in the green
Lasers back.
Lasers back.
A classic.
So it's a classic. Everyone still loves it. Apologies on me. That's on me. I completely forgot to bring that one up. But I think that's placed really well after People With Right there. This whole kind of more electro-y phase of this act, which is Stars, is it goes with the Clocks theme as well, and everyone still loves Clocks, and I think it should still be on the set list. I know people have had their opinions. In terms of the Light Club, I think it's fantastic. I love it so much. I am grooving, I'm enjoying, I'm having a great time, I'm dancing along. They're being a bit silly. But this is such a great way for Chris to get his vocal rest as well, which he badly needs, um, while still making the show really, really fun. And they have a couple of messages that they play across as well, which is if you want if you want love, be love. If you want peace, be peace.
Yeah.
Great section. And then it's obviously all the kids who say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the music of the spheres. Please remember, everyone is an alien somewhere.
Mhm.
It's like a festival
It
intro, isn't
really
it?
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is something Chris Will hinted at when they were talking about that tiny Mott's 2 before My Universe on the track list. It's like we were trying to imagine an alien festival.
Yeah.
Of course, it sounds a bit weird on the album, but like I can now see it. It's fun. It's great. It's so inclusive. I have a great time. You'll always get really fun, great clips from it, fun little moments between band members, um, of Chris being silly
Chris
or
running on the spot.
oh my, it works. It's fun. I don't know. I have no issues with it. I enjoy it a lot. And then after
Just
this,
want to say Tendo, because he brings up a good point. Tendo in the chat, he says, I expected more of Infinity Sign. You really only get like 30 seconds of it, don't you?
yeah, I see what you
Yeah.
mean.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It's true,
A
but
little
you know,
bit is
But it
better
will
than
be a little
none
too
of it.
long, no? I don't think so. I mean, it will be a little bit too long.
There could be
If
other
it's
places the other half of the song could come in, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Then we get into this pregnant pause, and you see Epiphane in the background, the planet Epiphane, and and all the armies who are in the crowd, which are lots of them nowadays,
yes.
and everyone's anticipation builds, and all the excitement builds, and Chris has his alien head off, and all the band is back on the A stage, and then he has his mic, and then he has to make some joke about the song being in half Korean, and then you wait and you wait and you wait, and it builds up and it builds up, and then he starts with the you are, and the next word after that, the whole stadium singing My Universe. And it's insane. It's such a euphoric moment, such a huge hit for the band, still charting like crazy, still getting all the streaming numbers. Everyone loves it. All the BTS army is waiting for that song as well. They have the BTS members on stage as well. And it's a great song, and it's a fantastic addition to the set list. Um, any other thoughts, Eliana, on that song?
Oh, I agree 100% with you. At the show that I was, there were a lot of people, a lot of young fans, and you can tell that maybe there are people that started to listen to BTS, and thanks to this collaboration, now they're into Coldplay. So it was pretty cool to see that and to see everybody just singing and having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great
I just want to
moment.
say that since the collaboration was kind of hinted at or announced or been released with BTS, ColdplayXtra gained a lot of followers from the army, and when we going out and asking people to tag us in stories and stuff like that on Instagram, let's just say when they upload My Universe as their story and they tag ColdplayXtra, that they're an army just by the noise that is made and the specific cropping of the BTS parts as well, a little bit. But
Yeah.
in
That's fair.
general,
Yeah.
So
to be honest, a lot of people just mainly stick with the chorus, and you can tell when it's an army. Let's say that.
Yeah,
That's true.
absolutely. But it's a great song. People generally tend to enjoy it. It has the full production behind it, the fireworks, the pyro for the outro, and obviously that sensational dance bit that they have at the end, which is not really dancing, but them just really going ham on their instruments. But great song. I'm just a huge fan of that pregnant pause before the you
Yeah.
are. Oh my God, it's so good, so good.
I need that version of the song, to be honest.
I know it's really
I don't know
long.
if it's
Keep
out
people
there
waiting.
somewhere. Probably is,
Yeah.
but it's just brilliant.
I've
Reminds
also
me of
seen some armies bring out their light sticks, the army bombs that they call it,
Yes.
do the concert, and then this is their way of like, yeah, we're back. With videos. So I think it's good.
I saw one tweet, and they tagged ColdplayXtra in it, and I would have reacted different. But what they did, they said, "Oh my God, I was at the show, Coldplay show, and I brought my Bangtan bomb, and the person next to me had brought theirs." I was like, and they took a photo of the person next to them with a Bangtan bomb, like having a good time. I was like, why don't you just go over and say hi and just make friends? Like you're
That's
clearly
the whole
made to be
point of going to
friends.
a show,
Yeah,
know.
but
Meeting
instead you just
people.
took a photo of the present. Anyway,
Yeah,
people
I think
do what you do, don't we?
that's true, but I think Ian, the big problem here is that there are millions and millions and millions of our very dedicated armies, and I think
Yeah,
people don't have time to make too many friends nowadays. So
true.
Yeah, but
I
you
don't know.
can
I
be
made
friends with the people next to you,
I
Take
made
yeah,
some of my
time.
best friends at Coldplay gigs just by
I
being stood
agree.
around people.
I agree. Absolutely agree. It's a great moment in the show, and that song ends, and
Oh,
you don't
one
have
point on the production.
yeah.
I expected planets as beach balls.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I feel like people
Yeah.
would not notice them as planets or I don't know. Maybe I think there's enough going. There's enough. Your
Yeah.
senses are being overloaded enough. I feel like after a point.
Plus, with
So
what comes next.
with what comes next, that's
That's true.
this is the best part of the entire set list. You don't have even like 3 seconds between My Universe ending and the beat for Sky Full of Stars drops, and oh my God, what a song! And obviously Chris like fakes the whole thing, and he's unhappy or disappointed, and then he goes back to the band, and they're having a conference. Like, oh, I don't know what's happened. Everyone's a little bit confused, especially people who've not been to another show. And then he comes back and begs everyone to put that phone away. The whole 9 yards.
It's a little
And
bit dramatic.
it really is. I love it. I think it's great. He's a good actor. It's not gonna lie. And so are Johnny and Guy. I see the concern on their face, which is very genuine. And
I,
he's
I
like,
want I want to know the conversation that they have. I bet Chris goes back and says, "Pizza tonight." No.
probably, yeah, yeah. You boys having fun? Something like that.
Pizza or
Um,
sushi.
pizza sushi. Yeah. I had too many bananas before going out. Something like that.
Yeah.
Probably. Um, They come back, everyone's phones are away, and it is the most euphoric 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes of your entire life right there. Because that song with everyone kind of in it together, dancing, jumping, singing, with the wristbands, the lasers, the lights, the fireworks, the confetti, is just insane. There's no words. I mean, I'll keep saying insane because I don't have any other words to describe it by. But I know, Ian, this is your favorite song. Are you excited?
It's yours as well.
It's my favorite live Coldplay song right now, for sure. I mean, it has been for a while, but it's just
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, no, it's my favorite song. I'm so happy they've added pyro this time around.
Yeah,
Felt like it needed so much pyro on Heavenly Dreams for that song, but yeah, it would have taken away from Up and Up ending, I think, if
kind
we
of.
would have had that. Loved it when we saw like Big Weekend and Glastonbury last year. Like I was like, finally they're using pyro for this song. Got me excited for this tour. And yeah, some of the laser work. I saw some footage from Levi Stadium the other day, like similar to the photo we have on screen there, which was at the back. Some of the laser work is just fantastic with the effects mid-song and towards the outro. It is insane. It's the best live song. We said that last year when it was the Glastonbury review. It's their best live song, and they know it.
They know it.
And
that's why they do what
That's
they do.
true.
that's why they've thrown the bank at this song versus Higher Power or My Universe as much. So yeah.
Eliana, any thoughts on Scratchboosters?
Now, other than what you guys said, I think 100% agree with you. I wouldn't say it's my favorite live song. I think I have a soft spot for Charlie Brown, but this is a
Fair.
close second.
That's fair.
I want to
Yeah.
say I want to say that Skyfall Stars never used to be like high up my like listing of Coldplay songs until I think around 2015. So like I had to wait a full year for it to really kick in and become that powerful and meaningful to me. Sometimes you just have to wait with songs, and I feel like Higher Power is actually, I don't know where it sits. Originally it was like here, and now it's climbing.
Yeah.
Higher Power is getting up there.
Once you see it in the stadium, I think it'll climb
Yes.
higher.
Need to.
It's gonna climb very high once you see it live.
It really is.
I have seen it live, but only in a small venue.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, in a stadium
Yeah.
setting.
the reason Skyfall of Stars, I think, became one of my songs. I remember the Global Citizen Festival they played, and it was like in the middle of the day. It was the time they premiered Amazing Day. And didn't tour stadiums or outdoor big concerts for Ghost Stories, did they? So
No.
it was the first time you really saw a massive crowd going crazy to Skyfall. And that just made me emotional. So I was like, oh my God, these people are going crazy to Coldplay.
Yeah.
It's just, that gave me a fantastic, and then it became its own thing for me. But yeah, so I'll stop talking.
I remember, no, I completely agree. I remember when that song, when Chris did this whole bit, I told my friend who was with me in Dallas, and she'd not obviously been to a concert before. I told her, just wait, this is the best part of the show. So she said, okay, let's see. And then the song ended, and then she just gave me a hug out of nowhere. It was like, oh my God, that was incredible. Oh, that was insane. And I remember after that song ended, and then they obviously go off to the C stage. I knew that I need to go to more shows. This is not enough. I need to go to. I've only go to 3. I need to go to more. That's how incredible that is. So this is the one point that's not technically on the set list yet, but this is a couple of times when they tried Coloratura, or like they've put Coloratura there, but not have played it yet. And I'll be honest, I don't see that working after A Sky Full of Stars. I don't know where you place that song if it were to be played. What do you guys think? Yeah, after Sky, it doesn't work after Sky Full of Stars. At least not in the stadium setting. It's a great song, but
I don't know if it works or not, because none of us have been to a show where it's been.
Yeah, well, that's also true.
But I will say, I got it after Sky Full of Stars at the small show in London last year, and it was a bit flat. If we're being, I know people love this song. I know super fans adore it. I know it's been some people's wedding song. You know, I know it's important to a lot of people. But the truth is if this song is not played, your night's not going to be ruined. You're not going to go home pissed off. There's so much to enjoy in this show, without Coloratura there. And like we were saying earlier, bathroom breaks. The song, the band hate those kind of moments. They try to avoid giving any chance for those moments, and Coloratura is one of those songs, and it could take 3 other songs off the set just with its length. So would you really swap 3 songs for Coloratura?
Interesting.
And that's also, a very good point.
There's other aspects to it. The song hasn't been as successful as maybe they hope. It's not got amazing streaming numbers. Like Phil alluded to, keeping people's interested for 10 minutes is a difficult task, and especially on a musical journey as this is.
Yeah.
So fitting it into this show is very, very difficult, and they want to, and they tried trimming it down, but still can't do it. And I don't know where they can at the moment either. But also, I don't think it ruins the show.
No, I agree.
You're looking a bit sad though.
I know. I'm looking I'm deep in thought, really, more than Eliana. Before I come to you, just one thing. I'm just seeing a lot of people from the chat saying like at the end, they want it at the end, and I think one person listened to the short live version, said it was amazing. So, all right, these are their points. Eliana, what do you think? Do you agree with Ian?
It's very fit to. I mean, it's hard to fit that song into a set list. I think Ian has a good point. It could be a bathroom break song, and they probably don't want that. To be honest, I was a little disappointed at my show because they did play it in Costa Rica. I think it was a shorter version, and then in Santo Domingo they also played it, and I think at some of the shows in Mexico. So I was hoping to listen to it live, and it didn't happen. So I was a little bit sad, but I get your point. And also I think the length of the song, it will take 2 or 3 songs out of the set list. It will be that or making the show longer. So those are the
I'm sure
two
there'll be
options.
some fans who might say, well, take out In My Place, take out Human Heart, take out Beautiful, because they hate Beautiful, and then add Coloratura. But
I don't know. And I have a lot of friends that they don't really listen to Coldplay, and I made them listen to that song. And it was like, oh, so this is interesting. And it was something that they weren't expecting from Coldplay. So it has it has a lot of fans, but it's very hard to put it into the set list. We're gonna talk a little bit about the ending later, but
Yeah.
just a spoiler alert, I'm one of those people that would love to have coloratura at the end. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Sounds good. We'll continue with that tiny debate at the end. Let's get to the C stage and the final act, which is home. And we get into a cover song usually, or Orphans has been played once or twice at that
Yes.
moment. And so it's hard to really say because it depends from concert to concert what cover song they're doing. But I think it's a great moment. I think the stadium loves it. People locals love it. This is the time when people are like, oh, I really like that they did that because when I was in Dallas, I remember everyone around me was loving Dallas every day. Houston loved Houston number two. Costa Rica, I think that was where Bachata Rosa was played, and that video was a hit
That
on
was Santo
TikTok.
Domingo. I think
Santo
that was Santo
Domingo.
Domingo. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting all my dates and places mixed up.
It's
But
okay.
that TikTok
Well, I
was a
was the
huge
one with
hit.
the sleep problems.
I'm spending too much time with you, Ian. This is the issue. Um, but no, I think it's a great moment. If there's no cover song, I think Orphans is a great addition. So no complaints for me. I like the C stage setup here. You can see on the screen with the tiny light bulbs. Very
Yes.
nice and very cute. It's a good moment. I have no major complaints. Any points that you're gonna want to bring up before we move on to Sparks and then the last bit of the show?
I
Eliana
just wanna,
or Ian?
I was
No,
going to
no,
say, I
no
just
problem.
love that Orphans is the most played C stage song, and that some everyday life remains are existent on the set list. Because I think me and Abby, we have it up there as one of our top albums.
Yeah, my
Same
favorite
I love
here.
that album a lot.
Same
so
here.
For you as well. Okay, great.
It deserves love.
It's why you're
Even if
invited.
it's just two
It's
songs.
why you've been invited to the streams.
Yeah. We're not
That's good to know.
biased.
But I'm just happy it exists because he did shut it out like, oh no, there's going to be no Orphans, no everyday life. And
Mhm.
there's elements of it with Sunrise, and Orphans has been the most played C stage song, which is fabulous in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's great. And then we go to Sparks, the song that was revived by TikTok, the song that's a huge hit on TikTok, and it still is. And I still see so many videos where that song is used, and people love it. And I think now in the US shows they've invited Preston Veight, I believe his name is, a Nashville country artist who plays the iron guitar during Sparks. So there's a new magical country-ish flavor to Sparks. I don't know if he's still going to continue in Chicago and the other dates in the US, or if they're going to do something else in Europe. But great song. Really happy that it's been revived in some ways. That gives
Isn't it a
parachutes.
meme though?
It's not really. It's not. A lot of
I
people
feel like
tend
it's a
to.
meme.
I don't know. I think people really like it.
Okay.
Why would it stream so much? I mean, it's still always in the top 10 daily high stream songs. So yeah, it could
I
be a
thought it
meme,
was just
but
like a meme because they use it to describe when they're a little bit depressed in the middle of the night.
maybe.
Those are
but
the
hey,
TikToks I've seen, but
hey, maybe. I think in some ways it does encapsulate this journey of the musical of the spheres in some ways, where it's like all types of elements are there. Everything's kind of happening. Oh, there's a bit
it's a
of
really beautiful song. I know I'm
bit of
joking
everything.
about it with a meme thing, but it is beautiful.
It's
Lovely
great.
song.
It's great.
I'm just
I'm not
happy to
tired of it.
see songs from Parachutes, to be honest. Any song from Parachutes, I'm all for it. So it's very happy to be.
Does Yellow
Yeah.
To
count?
see that. Really?
Does Yellow count?
Um,
No.
overplayed, but
Okay.
it doesn't really feel for Parachutes because it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
So you're just getting, I mean, you're used to it. But Sparks, or in my show, for example, we had Don't Panic. It's that type of song that you don't expect. So Yellow counts, but I don't know. Counts a little bit.
Parachute songs do get a lot of love from everybody, I think. When they did Everything's Not Lost in Seattle, it felt like the whole internet lost their shit.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that was such a good moment. Um, but yeah, great fan, great fan. I'm happy to see stages these two songs. I don't think it needs any more. I don't know if
I
this
agree.
is going to be a dying art as such, C stage, but at least for this tour, I think two songs is enough, and then we can move back into the big ones. Um, Someone here is saying when they played See You Soon in Bogota, that was great
Oh my God,
memories.
yes. We had that as well.
We
I
had See You Soon.
forgot. And I got trouble in Paris. So I've seen a lot of parachute songs now that I think about it.
Yeah,
Very
that's
well
amazing.
did. Yeah.
Um, Brooke saying Fix You is a meme at this point, but people still love it. Yeah, well, yeah, because
Yes, we do.
we still love it. Such a popular song, and people love it so much.
It's a classic.
Um, and then with that, we finally move to the closer of the show. I will say, I think in some ways I do like the fact that Coldplay don't do this stupid fake out at the end. We're like, oh, we're actually done now. But they never have that moment. This is something my friend was also pointing out, which artists tend to like say, oh, we're actually done, but then they have to do that final encore. They never mention that anymore. So I really enjoy it. And then we come back and we're into Fix You immediately after See You Soon. I don't know what more can be said about Fix You, Ian. You still have your favorite midnight intro. It's still
Mhm.
a stadium anthem. Everyone still cries and sings it out loud. Still has the pyro, still has everything. And I think in some ways this Act 4, which is called Home, it does feel kind of like homely because you have your C stage intimate moments, you have your cover songs, you have your fix yous, and then you end up with obviously Humankind. Beautiful. But um, yeah, any additional thoughts on fix you before we kind of close out on Humankind and Beautiful?
I
Not
just love
really.
that they kept the midnight part of it. I think it actually works really well. I was again skeptical when we heard the promo set list and it was like song 3, and I was like, I'm not sure this is capturing the mood of what the tour needs to be, but they've picked a really good spot again here. I love the midnight intro. Happy that stuck around.
That's right. Eliana, any thoughts, final thoughts on fix you? I think we've spoken so much about it, we just know what it's all about.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. I just love
Yeah,
it. I
it's a
cry every time. It's
every
my
time. I agree.
sound to be emotional.
I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we are into Humankind, which is a song that people have been waiting for a long time from the band to listen to live, and it's finally on this. And we knew it was always going to be on the set list. They said that they were very excited to play it on the set list, and we've had two different intros to it from what I've seen. We've had obviously the one where the Fixie ends and Chris ends up on a piano all the way back on A stage and asks the crowd to sing "I know, I know, I know," and they do that a few times, and then the intro for Humankind starts. Great transition. Or the other one that we heard recently was Chris with a loop pedal on B stage on a
Oh
piano
yeah.
again. And then kind of starting off the song a little bit and then just doing I know, now, and then the song starts. So we'll see what they continue with. But Eliana, how did you like Humankind?
One of my favorite moments of the show.
Yeah,
For sure. I love that song. Lots of energy. Um, I think it's a good way to finish, I'll say, the show in terms of, it's that and then Beautiful comes in. So, um, yeah, I just love it. And I mean, when I was at the show in Mexico, everybody in my section, they were all singing that song, even if it's just the chorus. So I don't know, it has something magical, and it's a good way to, um, just have a little bit of energy and then bring it down again. And I don't know. And at first I was sort of hoping that they will open with that song, but then I start to think about it, and I was like, no, this is it. This works better at the end. So
yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I
I wouldn't
agree.
change it. I think it's perfect. Just it is in the set list.
I agree. I agree. Humankind getting a lot of love in the chat as well. Ian, any additional thoughts? You know me, I have a special place in my heart for this song now for obvious reasons. But it's, as
You're
you can
taking that
see,
one to the grave.
Yeah, yeah.
yes, yeah, that one is, this one's gonna be here
Was it?
forever.
One of those moments you're not gonna forget.
No. Um,
So this is one that's actually caught me by surprise. It wasn't one of my favorites from the album, but
Mhm.
Chris did say he loves playing this one live, and no one heard it live, so we just took his word from it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And now when it's been played in stadiums, and like we've been tagged in the footage on Instagram from Coldplay, even the people right at the back are singing along to the chorus. It's become
Yes.
a very good, and it's not been a pushed radio hit. It's not been, you know, released as a single yet. The music
Mhm.
video has been filmed, but we don't know when it's coming. Like, it's not being pushed that hard, and yet the whole stadium is along with it, going for it, singing along, dancing. The production is sensational. The lights, the fireworks, it looks amazing. I someone who didn't really like the song just on its own, I can't wait to actually experience it live because I know it's just going to change my mind.
Yeah, I think it's so much fun. So much viral. So much.
Yes.
It's so great. They really just go all out. And I love the countdown as well. The countdown.
Jellyfish.
Yeah.
For
It
those who
really
don't
gets you
know,
into it.
yeah, those who don't know, the spheric alphabet spells out jellyfish in the countdown part. We thought it was going to be 10-1, but it's not. It says jellyfish. So maybe that means something, or maybe
Maybe
the
not.
Maybe it doesn't.
animation, maybe the animation guy was just trolling, or maybe Phil is trolling us. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, Abhi deserve it too, honestly. Um,
Like, watch them clown over this.
oh my God. They need some entertainment in life too.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, absolutely, absolutely incredible. Great energy from everyone. It's literally the last, like Chris is like, this is it, let's do it, let's be together, etc., etc. And it's such a fantastic moment. I think you will have a lot of fun when you listen to the song. And I'm really interested to see what intro they keep for it. Is it going to be the one they did recently with the acoustic with the loop pedals, or is it going to be the one they had before? So yeah, let's see how that goes. I love this picture as well. I believe this is from Dallas that we put up. One of my favorite pictures from the store for sure. Um, then that ends, and we're back into more puppet and into the final song, which is Beautiful. And before we go into it, I have to defend Beautiful because I love this song so much and it's so good and it ends so well. So those are my opinions. Eliana, what did you think of Beautiful?
Again, not a fan of the puppet, and to be honest, not really a fan of the song. It grew me a little bit now that I heard it live, but I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. This weird voice there. It's like I don't know what they're going for. But I don't know. It makes sense within the show, and of course you had the puppet before, and now the weirdos, and it kind of makes sense. But as a song, I don't really like it.
Hmm.
I remember in the Head Full of Dreams, they end up the show with Up and Up, and I feel like if they, I don't know, if they ever go back to that type of song, I will pick Coloratura as a closer, but I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it needs to grow on me. I'm not sure, to be honest. Not a fan. It's
Right.
okay, but
That's fair. That's fair. We're getting some differing opinions on the chat as well. Ian, what do you think of it as a concert closer from whatever you've seen so far?
I love it. I will defend that with my heart, just like you will defend People of the Pride and all these other songs. I think what it does, it's a wonderful pop song. I think in the review with the Music Spheres album review, I said I wanted an extended version with Jay-Z rapping on it. And I told you it was the song I was singing the most in the house. I think what it does for concert goers, it sends them home feeling like they had a lot of fun because of the puppet and feeling loved and happy. And my worry is, should they have closed with Coloratura can leave you feeling like you just traveled through space, let's say.
Yeah.
And you can feel a little bit like, I don't know, in awe or insignificant about life. If that makes sense.
No, it does.
I can
it
really paint the
does.
picture. But at least with this one, it's such a love, happy song. Yeah, it sends you home feeling warm, cozy, fuzzy, feeling loved, feeling like you had a really nice personal experience with the band, and you had a good laugh and you had a good time. And that's probably the key message that they want you to go home with. Not
Absolutely.
some hardcore political message or so, they've
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah,
They've done
yeah.
that. And so now it's just about making people feel great.
I
which
agree.
They get an
absolutely
A star from me.
agree. I
Fair
agree.
enough.
I think there are a couple of moments in this that really stand out for me. I think there's a nice pause right at the end before the last verse, and then Johnny's guitar kind of comes in. That moment's musically really good.
Beautiful.
There's my second favorite moment is obviously you're talking about Chris feeling love, and he does two things that I agree there, which is one, he does this heart thing, and then I was in the GA, and everyone started doing this back to him, and I was like, okay, this is great. And then one other thing, which is the lyric of the song, is the second verse is like, and this is when Chris sings after the puppet is done singing. And he really looks out at the crowd, and if the camera is on him, you can definitely see it. He like has his hands out in front of him. And he's like, "I want you to have everything. Uh, I want you to have everything you want in this beautiful life," which is like that makes my heart
Yeah,
feel so full. And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Chris. I will
yeah.
try."
Lyrically, it's beautiful. It's just I don't know. I have a hard time with the high
The
pitched voice,
puppet. Yeah, the
Puppet.
high pitched
puppet,
voice.
and everything. But yeah, lyrically, I think it's a brilliant way to end the show.
Yeah.
I love the little outro thing where they
Yeah.
really just put everything,
Everything.
confetti, fireworks.
Yes.
They just go for it. And then the actual outro,
Mhm.
which is like this crescendo, I guess you could call it. Wonderful. Reminds me a little bit of the Believe in Love ending.
Yeah.
And I think some fans have actually asked for him to sing Believe in Love right at the end.
Mhm.
But let's see how that goes.
Let's see how that goes. Couple of differing opinions here in the chat. Sue saying it's not emotional enough. Sorry, disagree. Sorry, Sue. Laura saying that's a good point. Instead of leaving the venue with a nostalgic feeling, you leave with a happy one. And I agree. I think, at least for me, that's how I felt. And who knows, maybe it'll grow on people. That's it. That's the end of the show. And then you have a small break, and then you have the band saying a kind of long, extended goodbye with like first they do it all over the A stage, they do their three bows, then they walk all the way down to the B stage, do one more bow, and they walk off. And while they're doing all of that, you have a new song. It's called A Wave. We know it's a new song. We know it will be out at some point with something or the other, probably Aurora or something else. From whatever we've heard, it sounds great. It sounds atmospheric. I don't want to make too many judgments on it because I'm usually very delirious at that point and I'm not really analytically listening to a new song. But I think it's a good addition.
Your eyes are full of water, trembling.
Yeah.
So, but realizing that
lips
I'm
going,
lips going, realizing that my knees are probably going to need some icing tomorrow, you know. So, but that's it. That's the end of Music of the Spheres, the show. It's absolutely sensational. I was speaking to someone after Dallas the last time around, and this is someone who this is their first show, and they were saying that I'm and this man was in his 40s, maybe 50s, and he was like saying I have heard of Coldplay concerts, and this is my first time, so I was excited. But I genuinely don't have dictionary words available to describe how good of a performance this is. It's because it becomes such a euphoric feeling and such a high. It's really a high, really, that you don't know how to like put
Yes.
words to it. So yeah, you can gripe about the set list like we have, and you can overanalyze things, and you can say you should have had this there and that there, and maybe take off this song and all that. But at the end of it, it doesn't matter because you've had such an incredible time.
I
That's it.
agree.
That's it. You're gonna have a great time,
Have a great time.
regardless of if one song isn't played or not. There's 20 plus songs there that are gonna make you feel great.
Exactly.
Or if you don't like Beautiful and Human Heart, then that's okay too. There's
Yeah,
still
it's
a large
okay.
percentage of songs there that you can like.
Yeah, it's not gonna ruin the show for me.
No.
I mean, it didn't. It didn't for me. So,
Yeah.
and I actually this morning before the pre-sale, the ticket pre-sale in Bogota, a lot of people that are not really like big Coldplay fans, they were like, oh, I don't know, I'm thinking of buying a ticket, but I'm not sure. And I was like, okay, this is an experience that you have to live at least once in your lifetime, even if you're not a big fan. So it's like, go. And I think I convinced a lot of people to actually buy the tickets. And they were like, yeah, I'm going. So
It's awesome. We
it's
love
a
that.
wonderful experience.
Is
Love
the
that.
tour to bring them on. You don't know what
Yes.
will happen in the future. You don't know if it's going to be as big or as, you know, production value. You don't know if they're going to be, don't know if they even come to your country anymore. You don't know.
We don't know.
Have to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Well, guys, we have been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes. So chat. If you have any other questions, we'll answer
Nearly as
them.
long as the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have any other questions, we'll answer them next time. Ian, thank you as always. Hopefully, you get to go to a show soon. I'll talk to you later. Eliana, pleasure as always. Thank you for joining us again. And
Thank you
thank
for
you,
having
everyone.
me.
Hope everyone has a great
Enjoy
time.
the weekend, Abhi.
I will. I will. See you guys later. Take care.
All right.
Bye bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye bye.